So I sat down here just about to record this video, and then I was distracted by this pop-up here on my Facebook timeline. And I'm just going to share it with you because it's very, very much aligned with what it is that we're going to be looking at here right now. It says, my biggest business lesson from 2017, which is something that I put on last year. Focus less on being known, but focus more on magnetically attracting your ideal buyer. Less stress, more profits. I'll say that again, right? So this is what I said last year. I said my biggest business lesson from 2017 is focus less on being known, but focus more on magnetically attracting your ideal buyer. Less stress and more profits. Now, let's get into this very quickly. So what I really want to talk to you about today is I want to talk to you about what I call building a business which is focused on sardines, or building a business focused on salmon. Now, what do I mean by this, and why is it important that you understand this and you're very careful about how you build your business? Now, when I talk about sardines, what do I really mean here? Well, you see, the thing is, people who are building a sardine type business are people who are excited about the opportunities that the internet, especially social media, builds. So you're building a business as a consultant, a coach, maybe you're providing a service, whatever it is, maybe you work in the relationship space, maybe you work in the business space, maybe you work in the career space, maybe you work in the fitness space, whatever it is, personal development of some sort, but you have some expertise, you have an ability, you want to go into the marketplace and make a big difference, change people's lives in a powerful way, and also get paid well for the difference you bring to the marketplace. So what many people are prone to do when we find ourselves in this situation is we think, you know what, let me go on to Facebook and go on to Instagram, and because there's billions of people on these platforms, or whatever other platform is out there, and let me just start to show up, and to really show up consistently. We hear things like visibility, consistency, and all this really important stuff. It is important, but the challenge with many of us is we go down the path of least resistance. What I mean by that is we look at, where can we find an audience for our message? Where can we find people who will hear us? Where can we find where people are going to engage with the brilliance that we bring? And then we show up consistently. We're building Facebook groups, we're building audiences, and what then begins to happen for many of us is we're putting things out there. We can start getting likes, we're getting the comments, we're getting the shares, which does a lot for our egos, and that's really, really great, when you have that happening for you. And then there we have a persona, like we are doing well. You've got to be doing well because you have a following, you have influence, as the case may be. Now, the reality, though, for most people who are online is, when you find yourself in a situation where you have this mass following, you've got tens of thousands of followers on Instagram, you've got thousands of followers on Facebook, you're doing your lives, you're putting your stuff out, you're getting lots of likes, lots of comments, and all of that stuff. Right? Or maybe you are, maybe you're not. But the key thing here, and this is critical, and this is what I do say is, if you want to know if you're building a solid business, check your bank account over the last 6 months. And that really is critical, because at the end of the day, right, you are in business. Now, the thing about a sardine business is, sardines, the mindset behind the sardine business is, I'm going to go where the masses are, and I want to build a mass movement. And don't get me wrong, there's nothing wrong with this model. It's just that for most people, this model wouldn't work. And it wouldn't work because, one, it's a very competitive marketplace, and the other thing is, sardines really, you've really got to be big. You've got to be really big. You've got to have your timing right to be able to do well targeting sardines. And I'll tell you the reason why. Because, one, the sardine model, right, which is go where the masses are, build a mass following, and build that way, it can lead to a lot of frustration. You see, these are people, the people who you're targeting are the people who will like, the people who will comment, but they will never buy. They're not buyers. You know what's even worse? And the other thing is, there's so many people in this space. So you have a lot of competition. Everybody's competing for the same people who actually are not buyers, right? The sardine model is hard because the majority are not buyers. The majority are just there to connect and engage, and probably they're also doing the same thing you're doing. So you just find that you have a cycle of people liking, sharing, commenting on one another's posts, cheering each other on, talking about how awesome we all are, even doing things together. But the majority, over 90% of them aren't really getting results, right? Now, and this is the model that is, most are using, most are focused on, because that's, you jump on social media. In fact, people say things like, if you have a phone, if you have Facebook, and if you have Instagram and you're not making money, then you don't know what you're doing. And that's not good advice. It isn't. It really isn't good advice, right? And so there is a different model, and this is the model that I'm recommending that you take advantage of and you focus on positioning your business, especially if you want to build a business where you're putting in less effort, you're getting better results, and you're having more amazing experiences. And this is what I call the salmon model. Now, let me explain the salmon model, because this is really where you want to be at. This is, so salmon is premium, right? Just like sardines, they're fish, right? So they have a few things in common. The reality is, salmons are much more valuable than sardines, right? But the effort you put in to catching a salmon, right, compared to the effort you put into catching a sardine, is not too different. There are differences, but it's not too different as far as the effort's concerned. The difference is the return on investment. What you get back with one salmon compared to one sardine is about 100 times more, right? Now, so what is the salmon-based model? And let me just explain that. Well, with the salmon-based model, first of all, you have to identify what you bring to the marketplace, how valuable it is. So what do you bring to the marketplace that is valuable, that can make a difference? And then you've got to identify who can you serve with your brilliance, that it will make a big difference for them, and they will be willing and able to invest in your input into their situation. So whether you're a life coach, a business coach, a career coach, a fitness coach, or a health coach, or a relationship coach, whatever it is, who is it that who would get great value from your input and would be willing and able to invest in what you bring to the table at the prices that you would want to be paid for the difference that you make. You've got to identify who that person is. And then what you then do is you build a business, right, focused on attracting and serving this person. Your goal is not to build a mass following of a ton of people, who like and who share and all of that. That is a model that has grown popular because of social media, because it's easy relatively to just show up consistently and all that, and then build this following. But then you now have a big group of people who you've got to sustain and maintain, actually, and most of these people are not buyers. And what I'm saying, that's a sardine model. But with the salmon model, and this is the model that we're using at Profit from Coaching, this is the model that, the month of April, this month, is we're not even, so we're just here bang in the early stages of the month, and we've already made more of this month than a lot of people, will make in the whole year. And and it's not because I'm showing up everywhere. It's because we're being very strategic and tactical. We know who it is we're targeting. We know who it is that we need to be connecting with. And then we position and we build and we structure our business in a way that we're able to create these connections and then move things along. So we're attracting premium buyers. Okay. Now, so that is the salmon model. That is the model that we want to recommend. So first of all, 4 questions that you really want to be answering right now to know if you're building a sardine business or a salmon business, right? The first question is this. Is right now, right, the way your business is, right? Are you packaged for a premium buyer? right, who will invest a lot of money? Do you have offers for a premium buyer? Have you packaged offers that a premium buyer will see, will like, and will want to buy in a hurry, right? Do you have that, right? The second question I'd like to ask you is, what are you actually fishing for? Right? So looking at your structures, looking at where you're speaking, looking at where you're showing up every day, who are you fishing for? Are you fishing for any kind of fish, which means you're going to be attracting sardines, right? Or are you in positioning yourself, fishing for salmon? Big question, and this is a question you need to answer for yourself, right? Then the third question is where are you fishing? Really critical. So where are you showing up right now? Are you showing up? Are you just, jumping on Facebook timeline and then you're just doing a Facebook live, and there's nothing wrong with that, right? I'm just saying, is that what you're doing? Is that, and once you do that, what do you do with the content? What do you do with your content? Do you just put it on Instagram, on Facebook, and then, just hope that that audience that you've built is just going to connect with it, right? Or are you intentionally showing up in front of people who are premium buyers, or are you just showing up? Right? Are you just showing up? And you've got to be very honest with yourself, right? Are you just showing up regularly, or are you showing up intentionally, putting your business in front of the right people? This is a question that you need to ask. So the first question is, are you packaged and positioned right now to attract premium? Second question is, well, what are you fishing for right now? Are you fishing for salmon, or are you just fishing, right? If you're just fishing, that means you're fishing for sardines. The third question is, where are you fishing? So where are you showing up? Right? There's this whole thing about being visible, showing up every day, and all of that stuff. And I have no problem with that. I will tell you right now that I don't put a tenth of the effort of people put into showing up consistently, being visible. But my business is consistently visible in front of the right people every day. But I don't need to be. I don't need to be creating content and doing all of that. I used to, right? But when we shifted from the sardine model to the salmon model, our incomes literally exploded, but I was doing less work. And then another question, which is really critical, fourth question, who is buying from you right now, and at what prices? So go back in the last 3 months and look at everybody who's bought from you. Who bought? How much did they buy? I think that really is a pointer. If you realize you're getting people who are buying at low prices, and probably the people who are less likely to get good results, big results from your help, but not only that, these are the people who would invest the least amounts of money, then it means that you're probably building a sardine business. And that means you're going to be putting a lot of effort, a lot of energy. The results you're going to be getting will be minimal, because unfortunately, most of these people will not put in what needs to be put in to be able to get the outcomes they want. And the third thing is the experiences. I promise you, working with salmon type clients is a lot of fun. These are the best people to work with. They invest the most, and it's the best experience working with them. When you're working with those who invest the least, these are the ones who can be the most frustrating, right? So this is it. So this is the difference between a sardine business or a salmon business. You're going to put efforts into your business, right? But I'm saying to you from experience and from where we are, and with the people who we've been working with to help transform shift their focus and shift their businesses, completely revamp their models from trying to be famous, from trying to be well known, and focus them on actually just intentionally positioning their business to attract the cream of the crop. Your business will be revolutionized. It will turn around, and you will build a business you will love, you will be proud of, and a business that will pay you extremely well. Hope this is useful for you. I hope that you can make a decision today to switch from the sardine model to the salmon model. So 2 questions. First question, right? And I'd like you to answer this. Which model, just from those questions I've asked you, which model have you been using? The second question is, what are you going to, are you going to stick with that model, or are you going to be changing, right? So those are the 2 questions. I'd like you to answer those questions in the comment section below. Whatever the case, I'm looking forward to you revolutionizing your business, making a big difference in people's lives, and getting paid extremely well. You deserve it, and you can do it, and I'd love to celebrate your success.